don't think too deeply about his anatomy. I'm thinking so deeply about his anatomy. I'm specifically thinking about how deep his anatomy will go later on when he comes into my house. Hello, and welcome to My New Tenant. This is a monster romance dating sim in which you hear a noise in your barn one night. And lo and behold, as you investigate, turns out it's a very hot monster. And luckily for you, he just happens to be your type. Let's get started. It's been a couple of months since you moved into your grandfather's old farmhouse. You left behind some things, but nothing you miss. A job you didn't really like, a home that was suffocating, and friends that you didn't really care much for. Worrying parents that still call you several times a week. You're okay with that though. The night sky is perfectly dark out here, in the middle of nowhere. There's no stress from work, no noise from the city. Oh my god, that would be such a dream. Just silence and peace and neighbors too far away to bother you. It's a nice house, and it's familiar, filled with good memories. Overall, this is a great place. You thought you'd get better here. All that anxiety, the nervosity, the constant fidgeting. And it did, kind of. But more so in the way that you're now completely avoiding everything that stressed you out before. When you do have time to interact with someone, it's 10 times worse than before. Man, I can't catch a break, can I? You're not sure if you'll be able to ignore this for the rest of your life. Maybe it's time for therapy. After all, you've never been to therapy. You have no idea how it works. But not knowing that is making you anxious, so you can at least imagine something. First things first, there's gonna be a greeting. You're gonna introduce yourself. Ooh, who do I want to play as? I will play as this bub. I like how you can pick. Hi, my name is Jay. The therapist will nod. It's nice to meet you, Jay. My name is... You didn't have a name for your therapist. You're very bad at making up names. My name is Therapist? The therapist is gonna say, so far so good. You can handle that. So, what are you here for? That's gonna be a great question. I like how tired Jay looks. Well, the stress, probably, the anxiety. Maybe the fact that you've also started talking to yourself in your thoughts way more often. Like talk. Not just forming words, but literally talk with your thoughts like it's another person. The voice in your head is a bit of a snarky ass sometimes. So is mine. This can't be healthy. Probably. How would you know? You're no therapist or psychology major or whatever. No idea how it'll continue after you tell them that. Deep breaths, Jay. Deep breaths. Alright, you can do this. Tomorrow you're gonna look up some therapists nearby and give them a call to find out if they can still take patients. I already hate this. Yeah, putting yourself out there is not very comfortable, is it? It won't be easy, but you're sure you can do this. Tomorrow, you get up, eat something, take a shower just in case they ask you to come over immediately. Which they might do. How would you know? You've never been to therapy. This would be so much easier if you knew what was gonna happen. Deep breaths, Jay. Everything is alright. You find yourself calming down just the tiniest bit. Great. It would be great if this wasn't the moment that you hear a noise outside. You're decently sure you didn't imagine that. There's something or someone out there. I'm so ready to meet my big booba monster husband. Definitely someone friendly. Definitely. You won't catch a wink of sleep if you don't check to make sure. There's no way around it. It could be a raccoon or something, which would be fine, but your neighbors told you about bears. Oh great, what if it is a bear and I go outside and I get mauled? But no, it's a sexy demon, and I'm gonna get mauled, hopefully in a different way. You do not want bears. It could also be an intruder, which no better, because those could come into your house. I mean, the demon can come inside my house, if you know what I mean. Maybe you shouldn't have moved so far out into the countryside right next to a forest. It can get pretty scary here. At least you have Grandpa's trusty shotgun. I don't know how to shoot guns. And you also don't want to hit anyone, so that's perfect, isn't it? You grab the shotgun. Whether you like it or not, the weight feels comforting in your hands. You listen at the door for further noises, but it's quiet. So you open the door as slowly as possible and peek outside. Nothing. There's no one around. But the noise did come from the direction of the empty barn right next to the house. Maybe something is inside there. You're still convincing yourself that it's some small animal as you approach. Small animals sound like the best option right now, next to it being nothing. Oh my god, it glows. I wonder if it's Wimwam also glows, but it's something. Damn large shutter that twitches in the corner when you peek into the suspiciously open barn door. Who's there? Come out. You don't sound threatening. You sound like someone who did not want to check the barn at night, and who definitely doesn't want to shoot. The someone or something doesn't move. Still, you're sure it's there. I have a gun. Come out or I'll shoot. No, you won't. But you do raise the shotgun, just a little bit. The moment you do, there's a growl. It's a deep, throaty noise. And you're immediately sure it's not a wolf, or a dog, or a bear. There's no way for an animal to make such a human sound, but then again, there's no way for a human to growl like that either. Oh god. You want to leave, but you don't. You stand your ground, shuffling the tiniest bit to the side while not totally quivering like a leaf in the wind. You find the light switch. Click. Wood. Immediately. That's so hot. The light shouldn't be affecting your sense of smell. But only when it's on, giving you a visual input, do you realize that it smells like iron. There's a bright red trail running from the barn entrance to where the figure is cowering on the ground. Oh, my poor baby! It's definitely not a small figure, and you spot the heavily bleeding gashes on its side immediately. You'd be shocked seeing someone bleed this much if you weren't shocked by the one bleeding. It's a man, you think. Male, maybe more accurately, and it's not happy to be disturbed. Wow, so, you come here often? You're hot. Man, shut up, Yinny. Oh wow. Hehe. Several eyes. You count 4 pairs are staring at you. Teeth still bared in a growl. Dangerously long horns and spikes run from its head down its back into a scaled tail that's raised in a threatening twitch. The long clawed fingers are digging into the ground. Is this supposed to make me scared? Because I'm really not scared right now. I think I'm more like scaroused. You know, scared and aroused. The creature is terrifying. Is it? But it's hot though. That it is. The darkened skin offsets the icy blue eyes, all wide open pairs of them, and the glistening scales range from almost black to a pale turquoise. The creature is gorgeous. You should be way more scared about this, but somehow you're not. Beautiful things have a way of calming you down. Besides, you're not anxious in front of animals or plants either, so why would you be anxious in front of a monster? Oh, why indeed? Sure, that makes total sense. As you're staring, fascinated, the thing lowers its growl into a rough rumble. I mean, it can roughly rumble me later. You snap out of it, finally taking a moment to assess your situation. This is not a human. This is not an animal either. This is in fact not a being that you've ever expected to see outside of a movie or drawing, and yet it's here. And while it's here, how many wigwams do you have? This is a monster in your barn, and you're not going to question that for the moment, because if you think too deeply about it, you're going to have a nervous breakdown. Look, okay, we need to— oh my god, that thing is packing. Anyways, this creature is injured, so let's focus on the matter at hand at the moment. The creature doesn't look hostile, more wary. It's still bleeding, but now it's slowly moving its weight away from its injured side. Sitting up, you can see its legs, form different from yours, much more suited to walking on all fours. It doesn't look as odd to you as you had thought such a thing should look. You try not to stare too hard and keep your voice as calm as you can. Can you understand what I'm saying? One of the 2 pairs of ears twitches forward. The growl quiets further, now pretty subtle. The creature continues to stare you down, skeptical. You have a feeling that he understands you. That's one very judgmental gaze right there. Still hot. Still hot. Still so hot. There's just something about a condescending gaze on a man who is bleeding on your floor. Oh my god, this game knows me so well. There's nothing like a hot man looking down at me disdainfully while injured. That could be something to mention to your future therapist. No, it's fine. You didn't say any of your thoughts out loud. Or at least you think you didn't. But the creature you decide to call it a man for now looks even more condescending now. Like he's offended you're checking him out. I mean, have you seen yourself? Alternatively, he thinks you're stupid. Probably. You give it another try. Do you need help? Duh. Bleeding out on the floor, I'm sure he's fine. More ear twitching. Finally, he stops growling completely. He just exhales through his nose audibly and shifts his weight further. He's leaning against the barn wall now, 2 eyes moving to look at his wound while the rest keep staring at you. How is his brain processing the information of them all looking in different directions? You'll have to look up how chameleons do that. Anyway, he seems to have judged you as not a danger to himself. You're about as dangerous as a fly, so he's right about that. With the man seeming more approachable, you decide to squat down. When approaching frightened and hurt animals, it's best to make yourself as small as possible. You're not sure about frightened or animal, but the man sure is hurt, so the concept should be similar. You get a frown in return for your movement, then a wary growl when you put down your shotgun. I'm not trying to hurt you, see? I put away the gun, praying you don't regret this. You're hurt. Can I take a look? All eyes return to you. The bleeding doesn't appear to have stopped, but the man is suddenly beginning to look rather exhausted, weary. You've seen your grandfather take care of sick animals before. This isn't a look of surrender. It's the look of someone giving up. Oh no, don't give up. You're too sexy to give up. He doesn't even react anymore when you shuffle forward, just letting his head fall to the side a bit, eyes almost closed. It'll be alright. Hopefully. Up close, the man is twice as beautiful. There's just enough human about him for you to regard him as a humanoid, but enough animal or monster to feel foreign. You've never seen anything like him before. You'd thankfully seen bad injuries before because wow, that looks nasty, considering your previous job, so you're not put off by the stench of iron. The wound looks bad. It's hard to tell under all that blood, but it's mangled like you'd expect a wound to look after an animal attack. Maybe one of those bears. You don't exactly have the ideal equipment to treat a wound like this at home, but you do have enough that you can get him patched up. The rest will rely on his own healing powers, which are hopefully better than a human's. A human most certainly wouldn't survive this outside of a hospital, but a human also doesn't have 8 eyes and doesn't not react to pain at all, so you're pretty optimistic. I'll be back in a moment. I'm gonna get some things to help you with that wound, okay? You think he understands? Judging from the way he exhales through his nose again. He's very pretty. The man monster lets you do whatever. He watches you with the gaze of someone fully expecting to be stabbed with a knife any second. Surprise starts to mix in when you don't do that, instead nudging him carefully so he can work on that injury. His skin is cold like that of a reptile. Does that mean his weenuses? If he's a reptile, does that mean he's got two weenuses? Because reptiles actually have 2, and they're technically called hemipenes. And instead of being one on top of the other, they kind of come out the side like that. So that means like if he ever, takes them out, they'll be kind of like next to each other, like, 2 bananas on a bunch. His skin is cold like that of a reptile's. When you get him to move his arm, his stomach reveals tight lines of muscles and the lack of a belly button. Your focus could be on the latter, but since it's you we're talking about, it's not. He's not exactly wearing clothes. We don't want to grope him without his consent. Like, at all. This is me. I am also distressed. Well, yes, he isn't. But there's nothing revealed that shouldn't be revealed. You could say that the scales and plates on his skin are his clothes. Don't think too deeply about his anatomy. I'm thinking so deeply about his anatomy. I'm specifically thinking about how deep his anatomy will go later on when he comes into my house. That's going down a rabbit hole. When you're done with the wound on his waist, you check the rest of him. There's streaks of red blood on his face where his fingers are dug into the ground. Bloody drops have colored the earth darker. You wipe away what you can and let him lie where he is, breathing shallowly, all eyes almost closed. Something tells you he's resilient. He will make this with some help. Food and water, shelter, time, maybe some love, safety. To not be found by wild animals or worse, humans who would love to get their hands on a thing that has never been seen before. You can offer him that. Him being hurt means he would stay a while. Obviously he can rest here. You're not going to throw out a hurt person. Not when he's being docile. You can stay here if you like, as long as you don't hurt me. I don't mind you occupying the barn. A single eye opens, focusing on you. Then another huff. His tail whips around to his side, the tip coiling on the ground in front of you. I'll interpret that as an agreement? He doesn't respond anymore. Little by little, all tension leaves his body. He's tired from whatever fight caused his wounds and he needs rest. Oh, he curls up like a cat. Put, he curls up like you. Put. His body tilts over to the side, once again curling up tightly. You haven't killed him so far, and even if you wanted to, he's not in the mood to put up a lot of resistance. His sleeping or passed out face is much softer. You hold back the urge to touch it and leave him alone. Hey, if monsters exist, then maybe the voice in your head talking to you like it's another person isn't so weird after all. No, let's not try and justify it. We still need therapy. Wait, doesn't that make it better or worse? You sleep fitfully that night, dreaming of eyes and slithering scales and hemipenes? When morning comes, you're almost eager to check if last night has been a very detailed hallucination. On the way, you pass by the bloody tissues you threw into the trash. Not a dream after all. When you check on the stranger, he is where you left him, almost. Shuffled off to the side, a bit more hidden away but awake. Probably startled by the noise, he quickly gets up. The wariness thankfully passes almost immediately. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. Recognizing you, he tilts his head, and a thin, forked tongue, oh my god, slithers out between his lips. Oh my god. Hi. The pale tongue is gone before you can really look at it. That's okay, we'll get a close-up later. Was he sniffing the air just now? Snakes mainly smell through their tongue, you know that. You have knowledge about snakes. That is so cute. You like snakes. Their scales feel nice, and the little tongue flicks are absolutely adorable, especially on tiny snakes. Even though this is a very tall man doing the same thing, it still enhances his cuteness factor by a lot. Oh yeah, and he looks like he would be absolutely schlangin'. Also, look at his waist. It's so snatched. You wish you could take a video of it. Back to the topic. The main point is, the sniffing isn't a threatening gesture, quite unlike the growl. Although, to be honest, there's so much from different animals mixing, can you even trust what you know? You can see it more as a greeting. That's what you decide to do at least. Compared to yesterday, he looks much more relaxed now. It probably helped that you haven't tried to kill him. I brought you some water and a meal if you want any. I am also a meal, bends over. You don't need to tell him that. 2 eyes are on you, 2 are looking around, and 4 are fixed on what you're carrying, all the way until you put it down in front of him. You have no idea what the man with the fur-like hair who growls, has scales, horns, 8 eyes, and 4 ears might eat. So you didn't bring only water. You also bought milk and juice, just in case, and the plate is a carefully balanced mixture of meat, vegetables, fruit, eggs, and bread. Without hesitating, the man goes for the hard-boiled egg first, appearing confused for a moment when he notices the inside is not fluid anymore and follows it up with meat. You observe him as he eats. He's not purely carnivorous. He eats the fruit next, then the vegetables, and even the bread after some suspicious licks and nibbles. His tongue flicks out to lick over his lips several times, long and almost white. It doesn't match the rest of his mouth. You leave him to his meal, mostly observing his preferences, but not bothering him. Once he's done eating, it's time to check on his wounds. Can I check how your wound looks? It shifts a tiny bit. A yes, you think. This time you say your thoughts out loud while you're working, how the wound looks and what you're checking. His ears flick and twitch, and all 8 of his eyes stay focused on you. He's listening. But how much can he understand you wouldn't know? He has yet to give you a sign. This is looking good. It stopped bleeding and there's not a single sign of infection. I don't think you should move around too much though, or you might tear it open again. You sit down in front of the man. Well, since you might be here for a while, let's get along. My name is Jay. I live here alone, so you don't have to worry about anyone else seeing you. My neighbors are pretty far away, we don't really interact a lot. You babble on. It's easy to talk to someone who's listening but not commenting. I don't get visitors either, mostly because I don't spend a long time with other people. People are scary. His gaze turns to you, absolutely incredulous at the statement that almost makes you laugh. You? Scared? I mean, that is true. I did welcome a big booba monster into my home, with no fear. Hey, you got your confirmation that he understands you. That's cool. Seriously, I'm usually super awkward around others, can't get the words out. I can't see that happening, is what the gaze says. Your existence is so surprising that I'm finding it hard to get scared. Like, my brain isn't exactly treating this as real. What even are you? And what's your name? Do you have a name? Can you say it? The man looks at you for a while, then growls. Not growls though, it's a very specific growl, with an odd intonation, and it's hard to describe, but you think it's an introduction. Yeah, I can't pronounce that. He thinks again, then he speaks. Which is a nice way to say that he imitates the sound of words the same way a parrot might. That's actually a little bit frightening. Verrin. He doesn't correct you, so you must have managed to get it somewhat right. Maybe this is how you pronounce his name in human language. Well, Verrin is hot AF. Cool. Nice to meet you, Verrin. You're starting to realize that Verrin is actually very expressive. You can basically tell what he's thinking just by looking at him. You're odd. Rude. His eyes and ears and tail, the way he tilts his head, and even the crease of his mouth are constantly conveying messages to you. It's so much easier to read him than humans. How is the monster easier to read than humans? Humans? What are you doing? Stop being so complicated. Oh yeah, thinking about humans, you're gonna postpone that therapist. Yay! I mean, too bad. Back to business. For convenience, do you think you could talk to me directly? Head tilt. Is this really necessary? Fair point, you're not having a lot of problems reading him. But I want to hear his voice. When he said his name, his voice had that dark, raspy tone that you admittedly have a tiny bit of a thing for. It'd be a shame to communicate non-verbally when he sounds this nice to listen to. Fine. I'm convinced you got permission to say so. Your voice is very nice. I want to hear more of it. You didn't need to make it sound so lustful. I'm sorry. Look, now he's back to judging you. But look at him, my god. Jeez. Wowee. You grumble a complaint. Am I not even allowed to voice my opinion? Verrin relents with a very human gesture, rolling 2 of his 8 eyes. You humans are complicated. Verrin speaks slowly, but make sure to have every word pronounced correctly. There's not even a lisp. It seems like he knows all the words but needs to get a bit used to saying them out loud. Actually, his mouth moves very little while he talks. Maybe he has another way of mimicking your language. You try hard not to get giddy at the fact that he's fulfilling your wish. He likes me. You have about 4 dozen questions, but you need to ask them one by one. Priorities. Do you need anything? Like a blanket or a mattress to lie down on? Or me? Bends over, spreads legs? 4 of his eyes jump down to the empty plates on the ground. Food. Still hungry? I can get you more. What do you want? Eggs. I've got 1 more hard-boiled egg in the fridge and 2 fresh ones. How many do you want? He looks at you. How many? So many. I guess I'm gonna drop by one of my neighbor's places after all. One guy has a chicken farm. I can buy a lot of eggs there. The owner is very quiet and doesn't care about anyone's business. He's not gonna ask you what you need a lot of eggs for. The thought of dropping by gives you a twinge in your stomach though. Are you hurt? Oh, he's so caring. You notice you wrapped your arms around yourself. Awkward. You wave them around to show that you're fine. Oh, no, not hurt, just anxious. But I'm going there to get you a meal so I can do it. No problems at all. The attractive monster in your barn wants a meal, so you're gonna get him a meal. Soon. For now. Other than food, are you okay here? Verrin nods. I need rest. He gingerly puts one hand on his waist while the bandages are covering up his injury. You're gonna get him a meal in a moment, but his sleeping situation is more or less covered. He could totally sleep in my bed. Yes, he could. Why did you say that out loud? Oh no! You don't think he completely understands what you're implying. Maybe because he doesn't know what a bed is, but his gaze sure turns suspicious. No, I'll stay. He motions to where he is. Oh, sure. A shame. Will you stop it already? No, never. Why would I? How does someone like you have social anxiety? No, don't answer that. I guess this is just how much you're into what's in front of you. I'm being called out. It's so true, it's not even wrong, but like, look at him though. God, he's like perfect. Ugh, the only thing that would make him even more perfect is instead of legs, he might actually just have like a naga tail. Will you be cold out here? He huffs. Most certainly not. You're tempted to procrastinate visiting your neighbor further, but this gorgeous monster man wants his meal. To your surprise, you manage rather well. Your neighbor assumes you got visitors over to a comment he makes, and you don't correct him. Your monster is waiting for your return with his head raised and tongue flicking out repeatedly. Lunch is here! You act like you've been calm all along, but it's the sight of the not-human who's soothing your words. You hand him the basket of what's a dozen raw eggs. He picks up the first handful of eggs, eagerly holding them to his mouth. His jaw unhinges. There's a lot of snake-likeness in the movement, though the teeth he shows off are decidedly not snake-like. Behind a row of sharp carnivore teeth are little spikes covering the entire inside of his mouth, hot. Standing up further the more he opens up his mouth. If he bites into something, it's not going to free itself without the flesh tearing viciously. His mouth closes around the eggs with a crunch. Something tells you he could do the same thing with a skull. Okay, but that's still... You have some very interesting tastes. Yes, I do. Verrin is busy finishing his early lunch. By which I mean you have a solid 3 minutes to just stare at him until the basket is empty. Jaw back in place, he looks at you. With some eyes, not all of them. He just likes keeping a watch of his environment. Why are you helping me? The more he talks, the smoother the words come out. You're marveling at the sound of his voice until you register what he's asking. Humans don't like strangers. He's very right there. If there's one thing humans can't stand, then it's things they don't understand. If it's a living thing, an intelligent living thing, then it's worse. You're not scared, but you were. Before you saw me. Look, I'm sorry. I'm just kind of me. When I see monsters, that's it. With him slowly, deliberately pronouncing every word in his low, rumbly voice, you're getting a whole live ASMR experience. Yeah, I was worried that there was an intruder, which, okay, you are technically an intruder, but I mean a dangerous intruder. Unhinged jaw skullbreaker, which you technically are. What I'm trying to say is, I was scared that there would be someone or something who wanted to hurt me. I'm not scared of a bear because it's a bear, I'm scared of being attacked. And you aren't attacking me. I could be waiting. You could be, but it just doesn't feel like it. I'm not making a lot of sense, am I? I don't know. You awkwardly laugh and play with your sleeve. Sometimes you're so bad with words and explaining what you mean you don't make any sense. Verrin takes longer to reply this time, searching for the right translation. Trust can only be earned when given. I couldn't prove that I won't harm you unless you give me a chance. Which you did. Oh, I mean, I'll give you as many chances as you'd like. Embarrassment flushes your face red. You start rambling immediately, as you tend to do when you're nervous. Honestly, it's because of your looks. Us humans are totally superficial, nothing pretty or cute is dangerous. So I came in expecting an intruder, and then I saw you, and sure, you're very obviously not something I've seen around, so I should have been worried. But also, you're insanely gorgeous, which made me go, pretty thing can't be dangerous. All of Verrin's eyes blink, one pair after the other, the whole row down. From what I know, humans don't like. I mean, not this human. This human likes it very much. Have you seen yourself? Hey, yo! He fails at trying to get together what he means. His eyes narrow in thought until he has the words put together. You don't like things that look like humans, but then not completely. The fake human bodies made from wood and other materials, or art everywhere on your skin, or even humans with different colors. Dolls, tattoos, skin color. He's gonna point there. You're gonna find a lot of people who don't like the uncanny valley of dolls, who think tattoos and piercings are ugly, and who are just plain racist. What he apparently doesn't know is that there's an equal amount of people who do like it. Beauty standards are a very subjective matter. Some people like it, some people like it different. And you best believe that I like it very different. There's plain curiosity in Verrin's voice. He's not teasing you or trying to be mean at all. Like you. Yep. Like me. We didn't talk about the kinds of books you read and the games you play. There's a pattern there, Jay. There's definitely a pattern, even if you haven't noticed it until today. They say that fiction and reality can't be compared, but the truth is that in your specific case, there's some rather unclear lines. You have pause. Interesting. Pause. Long pause. Tastes. Yes. Yeah. Self-awareness. Nice. Thank you. I believe for humans it's positive when someone says they like your appearance. You're hot. You've been swooning over him rather than giving it a friendly compliment, but this is an acceptable misunderstanding. Since we talked about me being scared, what about you? How did you come to hide in here? And speaking of, why didn't you attack me? Verrin's nose creases slightly. His tail flicks around in unhidden agitation. There was an intruder. One of my own for my space, home, area, your territory. An area that you marked as yours. Yes, we fought. I won, but he wasn't alone. Implying that after their fight was over, more intruders appeared. Poor him. You got injured and had to retreat, leading you here where you hid away. Wait, how many of you are there? Verrin mimics a shrug. How is it that there's a whole species out there, even having territorial fights, and they haven't been found yet? Although, maybe they have, and it's been covered up. Better not to ask too much. I can't kill a human. I could have fought back if you attacked, but more might have come again. I also cannot hunt. Too many questions. Why can't you kill a human? It's forbidden. If we kill a human, your species will attempt to destroy us immediately. You've got nothing to say to that. I mean, that is true. You can't hunt? You were bleeding a lot, but you already healed up a ton. It looked bad to me, but was it that bad for you? I need too many words. I don't know how to explain. I can move, but not a lot. I'm healing, but not yet on the inside. I can only heal this quickly when I sleep. To summarize, while it looks like today he's almost fully healed, that's just on the surface. The injuries run deeper, and he can't walk, let alone hunt, which means he was risking starvation without support. Couldn't you tell I was the only one here? Yes, but humans have ways to call others, even from afar. Phones, of course. If he's not entirely sure how the technology works, then he has to be wary of you doing something, and there suddenly being a whole horde of humans. In the end, what was your plan? Hide away from the intruders, that much I get, but wasn't it a bad idea to do so this close to humans? They wouldn't come close to here. The most dangerous place can be the safest one, and I've watched this place. It's my territory. He rarely left and only during the day. I believe I had a chance you wouldn't notice. You sure are getting called out today, aren't you? If you hadn't been awake in the middle of the night because you were too fidgety to sleep, you definitely would have missed the noise. And since you never ever enter this barn, you wouldn't have found him either. Good thing that, for once in my life, I left the house when I didn't want to. Verrin gives you a look for that. If this is a territory you live in, then we're practically neighbors. Are you gonna reclaim it from the intruders? You pray he's going to. You don't want him to get into another fight, but the thought of him living nearby and maybe dropping by once in a while is nice. Yes, maybe we could frequently fandangle each other when this is all over. His throat rumbles slightly. Yes, condescending gaze was hot. Oh, so hot. Determined, proud, and slightly aggressive gaze is hotter. So hot. Don't you dare twirl your hair and giggle like an idiot. Hold it back. Awesome. That means I'll continue to see you around? Yes. Yes! You're definitely always welcome here. You grab his hands in excitement. Verrin twitches a little, 4 eyes peering down, but he doesn't pull back his hands. You only vaguely notice how he curls up his fingers a bit, twisting the sharp nails away from your skin. Oh my god, he's so sweet. Oh, he's so cute. He honestly looks a bit conflicted, which in turn makes you awkward. But pulling your hands away right now might be more awkward. Sorry, is, touching no good? It's fine. Why is he asking that as a question? His ears, which have been going up a bit, lower again. You think he relaxes a little, or resigns. You kind of feel like he's looking a bit resigned. Not in a bad way, just in a resigned way. You're still holding hands, by the way. Maybe I can hold something else. And you aren't planning on letting them go. You have little scales around your fingernails. Great observation! Proud of you. Perfect thing to say here. It steadies the claws. Oh my gosh. He calls them claws. We use them to fight, unlike you. You humans are soft compared to us. You wanna see how soft I really am? Hey, I've got some muscle. He looks over you. You feel a little shiver down your spine when he hums thoughtfully. Soft. Alright, if he's into soft, you're perfectly okay being soft. Another pair of eyes drop down to your hands. 3 pairs now, still holding hands. For a species this soft, you think he means something along the lines of weak here, actually. You're very direct. I didn't know humans were this aggressive in courtship. Oh no, he's absolutely caught on to the fact that I've been flirting with him this whole time. I mean, I wasn't hiding it. I was even talking about his schlonkus. In what? If this was a comic, your head would explode right now. Courtship. He's not only noticed your super subtle flirting, subtle my ass, but he's also been seeing it as you courting him. That's not an entirely wrong way to interpret flirting, but it's a bit much. You haven't even thought that far ahead. A monster husband? What would your parents think? I'll be honest, I have a feeling that my mom would accept it. You definitely have to renovate the house to find a way that both of you can comfortably live together. There's also children to think of, like, what does he think about adoption? Or I mean, you know, we could just impreg. Is this species monogamous? That kind of stuff is important to know before marriage. Wait. Yes, right, take a breath, Jay. Don't run away with your thoughts, there's much more important questions to think about. Yep, our whole species is totally like this when it comes to flirting, courting. Totally. You don't need to let him know otherwise. All of this has been intentional and planned, and you knew what you were doing. Is that the single most important question? Is if it bothers him? No. I win! A question, but more so that he's confused you're asking at all. It seems you're lucky that aggressive courtship isn't odd for him, but he might be unused to it. Still holding hands. I simply don't know your kind's rituals, which makes it hard for him to respond in the right way, you guess? Oh, of course, I mean, I don't know your kind's ways either, which would be how? Just asking out of curiosity. Yes, how? You lack a tail for it. I what now? Damn it, you'd have a tail if you could. Tails are cool. You finally pull your hands back and sit up all straight. Clear your throat. Do this seriously, Jay. I might not have a tail, but would you allow me to, court you? He looks at you like he's doubting why you decided that now. After all this time, you need his permission. You're trying to transition from thirsting over him to officially flirting, so obviously you need his permission though. I'm not sure if that's a good idea. Then why not? Verrin seriously studies you again, then taps a finger against your arm. Even with you wearing long sleeves, there's a distinct difference in build. That's fine. I can take it. I'm built different. I think I might accidentally hurt you. I'm built different. What actions exactly are we talking about that could cause him to accidentally hurt you? I'm sure that's not right. You're a very kind guy. I doubt you'd be that careless. He doesn't believe you at all. It's fair to say that this guy could, without wanting to, squish you to death. But you've seen no sign that he'd treat another living being that roughly. I mean, he can treat me a little roughly. You rack your brains on how to prove that to him. How about a hug? You can hug me and you'll see that I'm not that fragile. His tail flicks around for a while. Once it settles, you can read from his eyes that he thinks this isn't a completely stupid suggestion at least. And although you just said this is about him hugging you, you have apparently no patience at all because the one doing the hugging isn't him. You didn't even wait for him to vocally respond before you lean forwards and pull him into a hug. Frankly speaking, you'd never let that guy go of staying like this was an option. His body temperature is colder than yours, but not uncomfortably so. Just the tiniest bit cool. He's all smooth muscles and those hard scale-like plates make you want to let your hands wander all over him. Hey, yo! Verrin's arms move incredibly slowly, encircling around your waist with almost no pressure at first. See? Still breathing. You announce your survival quite happily, scooting even closer to see if he cares to let you sit on his lap. Woohoo! He lets you, not minding it. Is that a bird you're smuggling, or are you just happy to see me? Or it's not a more intimate thing for his species. Or it is, and he's just given up, thinking that it's you aggressively courting him again, which it kind of is. Verrin does tighten his hug, but not without pausing constantly, checking your reactions. Compared to you, this guy's a gentleman. He's so sweet. You lean back a bit so you can look into his eyes, or well, at his face in general. His tongue flicks out again, which is up close, seriously cute. You barely restrain yourself from touching his lips. You really have no fear. I have no sense of self-preservation, and also no shame. You wanna do it? You're just not particularly scary. You've been nothing but courteous to me. Restrain yourself from touching his lips. Oh, hello. Hello, what's wrong? Are you judging me? Shouldn't you overthink your courting for a while? You don't know me, or even my kind. Do you lay eggs? Does your, thingy do the, oviposition? I feel like maybe that's like something I would like to know. Technically you're flirting, which is an early step. Whenever he talks, his mouth moves slightly, the tip of his tongue appearing in your view for a split second. Restraining yourself. But for humans, we have the step you call dating. That's basically getting to know each other better to see if you'd make suitable partners. Very simplified. I see. And this step involves... He trails off. Sitting on his lap? Oh yeah, absolutely. Physical compatibility is an important factor? That's about half a lie. Because for some people, it's not a factor at all. And for others, it just doesn't matter very much, but you're far too comfortable with where you're sitting to move away from here. Verrin's face scrunches up into an expression of thoughtful doubt. Not doubting your words, but doubting your chances of surviving whatever image is in his head right now. You do have some suggestions for those images, by the way. While his face scrunches up, only one side of his ears lower. His tongue flicks out again, and seriously, you've been restraining yourself super well because this is way too cute. Know that I am fully judging you for what you're about to do. You've always been impulsive. Usually your impulses center around running away from any sort of social interaction, but now it's the opposite. You simply lean in and kiss him. For the record, he had all the time to move away or stop you, and he didn't. He doesn't tense up, he doesn't turn his head. He doesn't respond either, but he keeps his careful hold on you, letting you do whatever. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh wow. Oh, he's so cute up close. His eyes are so pretty. If your aggressive human courtship includes kissing him, he's apparently okay with it. The art is gorgeous, and I love how the hands are drawn. Oh my gosh. And the rendering is so pretty. Verrin's lips are as cool as the rest of his body, though chapped and rough rather than soft. You can feel the slight gap where he has kept them open. He never closes his mouth completely, and the shortest touch of his tongue more instinctually moving than probing. It's been a while since you last kissed someone, but that doesn't mean you don't remember how it works. Your arms are still around his neck, so you only reposition yourself slightly to make it more comfortable on both of you. He's so much bigger. You open your eyes a bit just to see his reaction. None of his 8 eyes are closed. All are open a sliver, all focused on you. It makes you shiver again, and I think he's blushing. It's so cute. You rub your lips against his, and Verrin complies, opening up his, and finally responding. His teeth are sharp, tiny little pangs of pain whenever you brush against them, but his tongue is soft and agile, teasing you until you want to melt. Whoa! You want to whine when he pulls back, but instead you watch him lick the saliva off his glistening lips, and you're instantly too distracted to make a sound. Breathe. There's a rumble in his words, a purr more so than a growl. Alright, I give up. We want the monster man. He's beautiful, he's courteous, he's sexy, and he can most certainly sweep you off your feet and carry you wherever. He can carry you as if you weigh nothing. That's an image we are into, period. I mean, I am so into it. So fragile. Losing your breath so easily. You wanna find out other ways you can do to make me lose my breath? Verrin grumbles the words, but since they're spoken in your language, he did intend for you to hear them. And that's his fault. Like, hello? Who's not gonna lose their breath getting kissed by a guy like this? You don't think it's fair for him to say that? You're good at kissing. That's why. He sighs. Long sigh. You will have to explain your human courtship to me. It appears very extensive. Extensive? Food, nest, care, compliments, physical affection. You did bring him meals. You also offered for him to stay here. You also bandaged his wounds. And we don't talk about the last 2 points. Never thought about it, yes, but I guess this is it. The nerves return. If it bothers you, I can hold back. He shrugs. I won't reject the courtship methods of another species unless it's the courtship itself I don't like. So you like me? Not disliking doesn't equal liking, Jay. I have known you for not even a day. Fair enough. But so far, you are alright. You're just gonna take that as a compliment. So, a try? Yes. Maybe it's you beaming at him, but he gets that indulgent, resigned look again. And seeing that, will kissing continue to be part of the courtship? He sighs again, but because your beautiful monster is a very expressive person, you know that he's okay with it. Oh, that was so cute. Oh, I'm gonna see if there's any other endings. Alright, there is also different dialogue and different CGs to get, so we are gonna grab those as well. So starting from here, instead of being pushier with how hot he is and so on and so forth, we're more resigned. And I think he instead starts coming onto us when we hold back a bit. No answer is also an answer. Verrin can tell that much. Honestly, having all 8 of his eyes on you is a bit unnerving. Feels like your every movement is being observed and judged. Every little awkward fidget you're doing. Thank you. He leans forward a bit and you try hard not to squeak. You don't appear dangerous either. Yeah, because you're weak and your eyes are pretty. Did he just? Do not squeak. Do not squeak. He's only replying to your comment about pretty thing can't be dangerous. Does he really think you have pretty eyes? I mean, they are quite pretty. He had to look away for a moment to breathe. Since we talked about me being scared, what about you? How did you come to hide in here? And speaking of, why didn't you attack me? Verrin's nose creases slightly. His tail flicks around in unhidden agitation. There was an intruder. One of my own for my space, home, area. Your territory. An area that you marked as yours. We can move past here, because these questions are the same. And then you two hold hands. And then he calls you soft. Another pair of eyes. Drop down to your hands. 3 pairs now, still holding hands. This has been okay while he's ignored it, but now he's staring. You jerk your hands back, laughing awkwardly and rubbing them. I guess since humans use tools, we don't need hard claws. But I'm a bit envious. I think the tiny scales are cool. You show off your hands pointing at your fingernails. Honestly, you have no idea what you're talking about right now. You're only attempting to get past the awkwardness. In the middle of your ramblings, Verrin touches the hand you're holding up and gently tugs it towards him. He holds it carefully, rubbing a thumb over your fingertips. Eee! This is me. This is me right now going, eee! You're certainly no fighter. How do you keep yourself safe? I don't go out, so there's no threat to my safety? Verrin looks troubled. And if you do have to go out like yesterday, if it had been something else, not me. He huffs. You need someone strong to watch over you. Make sure to choose a partner that can protect you. Are you single? Partner? You're still playing with your hand. Oh my gosh, someone help. Mate? Companion? Oh, a husband. There's a really great husband candidate sitting right in front of you. Very strong. Very hot. He is very hot. I mean, look at him. Hey yo. You try hard not to choke when you somehow simultaneously have to swallow and laugh. Do you have one? He gives you a tiny shake of the head and lets go of your hand. Some of his eyes drop onto you, his expression somewhat resigned. Not me. It takes you a second to realize that this isn't him answering your question. It's him responding to the thing you didn't say. What about him? As a candidate for you to date. Oh my gosh, I like this version of Verrin. This is technically a rejection, so you should be feeling bad, but you're not because, as you already noticed, he's very expressive. And right now, he doesn't seem to be too happy to be rejecting you. Can I ask why, if you don't mind me asking? Verrin studies you again, then taps a finger against your arm. Even with you wearing long sleeves, there's a distinct difference in build. I think I might accidentally hurt you. What actions exactly are we talking about that could cause him to accidentally hurt you? I'm sure that's not right. You're a very kind guy. I doubt you'd be that careless. He doesn't believe you at all. It's fair to say that this guy could, without wanting to, squish you to death, but you see no signs that he'd treat another living being that roughly. You rack your brains on how to prove that to him. How about a hug? You can hug me and you'll see that I'm not that fragile. His tail flicks around for a while. Once it settles, you can read from his eyes that he thinks this isn't a completely stupid suggestion at least. You open up your arms wide. Verrin moves in slow motion, circling his arms around your waist and pulling you over with the least amount of strength possible. Oh my gosh. To your surprise, he pulls you all the way into his lap. Hey yo! Making sure you're settled comfortably before he tightens the hug the tiniest bit. Frankly speaking, you're never letting that guy go if staying like this was an option. His body temperature is cooler than yours, but not uncomfortably so. Just the tiniest bit cool. He's all smooth muscles and those hard scale-like plates make you want to let your hands wander all over him. You're not going to do that, but you do wrap your arms around his neck. Still alive. You announce the fact that you're still breathing and feel an amused huff of air against your ear. Verrin does tighten his hug, but not without pausing constantly checking your reaction. Compared to you, this guy's a gentleman. You lean back a bit so you can look into his eyes, or well, his face in general. His tongue flicks out again, which is up close, seriously cute. You barely restrain yourself from touching his lips. You really have no fear. You're just not particularly scary. You've been nothing but courteous to me. Restrain yourself from touching his lips. Verrin's eyes narrow a bit. You may be restraining yourself, and I'm proud of you for that, but you're not exactly a subtle person. You're exceptionally bad at hiding where you're trying to look, and something tells you that Verrin is very much aware of it. He's still debating on what to do about it, judging from the look on his face. You do know that this guy can literally watch the movement of your eyes, hands, and overall body at once, right? There's no hiding that suspicious shifting. Give it up. He's noticed already. I wonder if when we do it, his tail is gonna have some part to play. Verrin's nose taps against yours, which, I mean, he's really close to you. I don't know your human courting well. Is this an invitation? Yes? You don't choke on your own spit, congratulations, but you do turn bright red. Why are you embarrassed at all? You already talked about the possibility of him becoming your partner, but the word courting is tipping you over. Please don't forget that he asked you a question. Yes? You squeak out the most hesitant yes that a yes can be. You didn't intend to be inviting him to kiss you, but you know if he's willing, then there's no reason to say no. Your thoughts only get so far. Oh my god. Oh wow. Verrin is so pretty. My god, the CG and sprite art is so gorgeous. This is probably my favorite lighting situation, like the golden hour sunlight. It's so pretty. Verrin has none of your nervous hesitation. He simply tilts his head slightly and the cool surface of his rough lips brush against yours. Oh my god. You freeze up completely. There's no force behind the gentle kiss, and the way his arms are loosening around you gives you enough space to escape if you wanted to. You don't. You relax the tension in your muscles and lean forward a tiny bit, pressing your lips closer together. A little shiver runs down your spine when you feel the cold tip of his tongue lick them slightly. Verrin certainly knows how to kiss someone, you realize. If you weren't sitting already, you'd be feeling your knees go weak when his tongue enters your mouth, teasing and tickling, wrapping around yours with a flexibility that's just not possible for a human. Oh my god! You almost want to complain when he pulls away, but the low purr of Verin's voice keeps you quiet. Breathe. You inhale. He licks a trail of saliva not only from his own but your lips as well, causing your breath to get stuck in your throat again, before he looks at you with an indulgent sigh. If you suffocate from a kiss, I was just unprepared. You grumble, hiding your face inside the nape of his neck. Are you this intent on courting me? Yes? Have you seen yourself? You mentally exchange the word courting with the more comfortable word, flirting. If you don't like it, then I won't. I don't not like it, but I've only known you since yesterday. I mean, I'm not expecting anything right now, but can we continue to get to know each other? And you can continue to come by even after you're healthy and get your territory back. One of his hands touches the back of your head, carefully brushing through your hair. If you want that. Yes, I do want that. I love you. I know it's only been a day, but you're really pretty. I do. Then yes. You hug him tighter, sighing with relief. Probably this would be the right moment to move away from his lap, change the topic, do something else. But you're unwilling to move. It's comfortable here. Despite your worry that you'll get pushed off, it doesn't happen. Verrin only makes a low sound again like a purr, and continues to brush his hand through your hair. Your monster, you can't help but think, is a very gentle one. I love both endings so much. This was so good. Verrin is like perfect for me. I'm so in love with Verrin. I want him so badly. He's so cute and so gentle and so sweet, and I want to get to know him better. I wonder if the devs will ever make a part 2 where you get to, like, you know, when it shows like your life with Verrin, like a more domestic life, because I feel like that'd be so adorable. But thank you so much for enjoying the story with me, and also thank you to these two lovelies, Vivi and Planet Star, for recommending my new Tenant to me, because I really love this. So thank you very much, guys. But yeah, if you guys like this video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one. And also, if you want to hang out outside of videos, I stream on Twitch 3 times a week. Feel free to stop by and hang out with me in the community. But that's all for now. Thank you so much for meeting Verrin with me, and until next time, take care.